is. When you look at life, you'll notice something fascinating. Everything you desire, everything you dream about, and everything you want to become sits on the other side of comfort. Comfort is the trap that keeps people small. Comfort whispers, "Stay here, it's safe, it's familiar, it's easy." And for a moment it feels good. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth lives in that space where you're uncomfortable, uncertain, maybe even a little afraid. Think about it. The first time you did anything meaningful, you didn't feel ready, you didn't feel certain, Your heart was pounding, your hands may have been shaking, but you did it. And after you did it, you realized you were capable of more than you thought. That's the secret. Growth hides in those uncomfortable spaces. When you decide to step beyond what is easy, you activate a part of yourself that has been waiting to come alive. Most people live their entire lives inside the walls of convenience, never daring to cross over into challenge. And what happens? Their dreams stay locked away. Their potential remains untapped. They settle for less, not because they lack talent, because they avoid the discomfort that unlocks greatness. It's like planting a seed, but never allowing it to push through the soil. That pressure, that resistance, is what brings the seed to life. Without it, nothing grows. You and I are the same way. Without struggle, we don't rise. Without challenge, we don't expand. The truth is. Every great achievement has come from someone's willingness to do the thing that wasn't easy. Athletes don't become champions by training only when it feels good. Entrepreneurs don't build empires by working only when the path is smooth. Leaders don't inspire nations by choosing comfort over courage. They all understand a universal law: growth is born in the soil of discomfort. Every time you stretch yourself beyond what feels familiar, you grow. Not sometimes, every time. The reason hard things feel hard is because they challenge the identity you've been living with. They demand a new version of you. Comfort is safe because it doesn't require change. But the moment you step beyond it, you're confronted with new decisions, new habits, and new ways of thinking. That's where transformation takes place. If you want to grow, you have to let go of the need for everything to feel certain. You have to accept that fear and doubt are part of the process. In fact, they're signs you're moving in the right direction. Because if you don't feel stretched, you're not growing. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you decided every day to do just one thing that makes you uncomfortable. Just one. Maybe it's having the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's waking up earlier to invest in your goals. Maybe it's saying no when you usually say yes. Each of these small acts of discomfort adds up. Over time, you won't even recognize yourself. You'll look back and realize that by choosing challenge over comfort, you built a stronger, wiser, more capable version of you. There's something powerful about realizing you don't have to fear hard things. You can embrace them. Hard things aren't here to stop you. They're here to grow you. And the more you lean into that truth, the faster you'll evolve. Growth is not accidental. It's intentional. It's a choice you make when you decide to step past the edge of what feels safe. Every time you do, you unlock more of your potential. You begin to see that the limits you thought you had were illusions. And once you taste that kind of growth, you'll never want to settle for comfort again. Growth lives beyond comfort. If you want to become the person you were meant to be, stop waiting for the easy path. Start walking boldly into the hard one. That's where your transformation begins. That's where your future self is waiting, and that's where you'll discover that the real magic of life happens. Not in staying comfortable, daring to grow. Resistance is one of life's greatest teachers, though most people try to avoid it at all costs. When something feels hard, when obstacles seem heavy, and when the path looks uncertain, that's the exact moment growth begins to form. Think about the way muscles grow. If you never push them, if you never challenge them with resistance, they remain the same. It's only under pressure, when the weight feels almost too much, that the fibers break, repair, and rebuild stronger than before. The mind and the spirit are no different. Resistance builds resilience, and resilience is the invisible armor that allows you to face life with courage, determination, and strength. Every time you encounter challenge and decide not to quit, you're wiring resilience into your character. You may not see it in the moment, but each time you endure difficulty, you're creating an inner toughness that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or gifted. It has to be earned. It has to be forged in the fire of hard things. That's why some people collapse at the first sign of trouble, while others rise with greater determination. It isn't luck, it's resilience. And resilience is a direct result of facing resistance instead of avoiding it. The natural instinct is to resist resistance itself. When something feels uncomfortable, the mind tells you to stop. It tells you to retreat, to find the easy way, to protect yourself. But what you have to understand is this: the easy way robs you of strength. The hard way, the path filled with challenges, gives you something far greater than ease. It gives you resilience. And resilience is the foundation of success, happiness, and fulfillment. It's because no matter how much you dream, no matter how big your goals are, life will test you. The question is not whether you will face resistance, but how you will respond when it shows up. There are people who treat obstacles like walls, and there are those who treat them like doors. The difference is mindset. If you believe resistance is stopping you, you'll shrink back and remain the same. But if you see resistance as training, as a test designed to strengthen you, you'll push through it. And on the other side, you'll find growth. Every time you face resistance and refuse to quit, you're telling yourself, I am stronger than this. I am capable. I am resilient. And that belief compounds with every challenge you overcome. The truth is, resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in the late nights when you want to give up but keep going anyway. It's built in the moments when failure knocks you down, but you choose to rise again. It's built when doubt screams in your ear, but you move forward regardless. Those moments of resistance are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to grow deeper, to rise higher, and to become unshackable. Without resistance, resilience cannot exist. Without resilience, growth cannot last. Imagine the kind of person you become when you no longer fear resistance, but embrace it. When instead of dreading hard things, you welcome them, knowing they are the very thing that is shaping your strength. Life becomes less about avoiding difficulty and more about asking, what can I learn? How can this make me stronger? Who will I become because of this? That's when resistance stops being an enemy and becomes your greatest ally. You don't grow by staying where it's easy. You grow by meeting resistance head on and refusing to let it break you. And over time, you'll notice something incredible. What once felt impossible will begin to feel natural. The weight that once crushed you will become the weight that built you. You'll look back and realize that every challenge you endured, every obstacle you faced, wasn't there to defeat you. It was there to prepare you. Resistance builds resilience, and resilience builds the kind of life most people only dream about. The most extraordinary discoveries you will ever make about yourself are hidden inside the challenges you fear the most. Hard things have a way of pulling back the curtain on who you really are. They strip away the layers of excuses, comfort, and self-doubt, leaving behind the raw potential that's been waiting inside of you all along. The truth is, you will never know how strong you are until strength is demanded of you. You will never realize how capable you are until life asks you to do something that feels impossible. That's the gift of hard things. They reveal the hidden treasures within you. Think about moments in your life when you were tested. Maybe it was a crisis you didn't see coming, an opportunity that felt too big, or a challenge that pushed you beyond anything you had faced before. In those moments, you probably felt fear, resistance, maybe even the urge to run. But when you chose to step forward anyway, something happened. You found a new gear inside yourself. You discovered resourcefulness you didn't know you had, courage you didn't think belonged to you, and strength that had been sleeping inside you all along. That's not by accident. That's by design. Hard things are the mirror that reflect back your hidden potential. Most people never discover what they're truly capable of because they avoid hard things. They live only in what they already know, what they can already do, what feels familiar. But here's the problem. If you only ever do what you already know, you'll only ever get what you already have. Growth demands that you reach beyond the known into the unknown. It requires you to step into situations that stretch your thinking, expand your skills, and test your will. Every time you do that, you uncover a deeper layer of your own potential. There's something remarkable about realizing that potential isn't something you create, it's something you uncover. It's already there, waiting for the right conditions to be revealed. And those conditions are almost always difficult, uncomfortable, and challenging. Just like gold is refined in fire, your potential is revealed in the furnace of hard experiences. Without the fire, the gold remains hidden. Without hard things, your potential stays buried. The key is to stop seeing hard things as barriers and start seeing them as invitations. If that challenge that feels overwhelming, it's not there to block you. It's there to introduce you to the version of yourself that can handle it. That problem that seems impossible, it's not proof that you're weak. It's proof that you're ready to discover your strength. Every time you say yes to a hard thing, you say yes to meeting a higher version of yourself. And here's what's even more powerful once you unlock that potential in one area of your life, it spills over into everything else. You might face a hard thing in your career and discover a level of perseverance that changes the way you show up in your relationships. You might endure a hard season in your personal life and discover resilience that transforms the way you chase your goals. Hard things don't just reveal hidden potential in the moment. They permanently expand what you believe you're capable of. Imagine what would happen if you stopped avoiding the hard path and started running toward it. Imagine the confidence you would build, the skills you would master, the strength you would uncover. Over time, you would realize that the hard things weren't obstacles at all. They were the stepping stones that carried you to the life you were meant to live. Hard things don't shrink you, they expand you. They don't weaken you, they reveal you. And once you understand that, you'll never look at challenge the same way again. Your potential is not found in the easy days. It's not found when everything is going your way. It's revealed in the moments when you feel stretched, tested, and pushed to your limits. So the next time life presents you with something difficult, don't run from it. Step into it. Because that's where your hidden potential is waiting. And the only way to discover it is by doing the hard things. Pain has a way of stopping people in their tracks. The moment discomfort shows up, most retreat, thinking it's a sign to quit. But pain is not a punishment, it's a signal. It's life's way of telling you that something inside is shifting, stretching, growing. If you change the way you look at pain, you'll see it's not the end of the road. It's the very path to your transformation. What hurts today often becomes the strength you draw from tomorrow. Pain, when embraced, transforms into power. Think about every significant breakthrough in your life. Chances are it was preceded by some form of struggle. Maybe it was the pain of rejection that forced you to build resilience. Maybe it was the pain of failure that taught you lessons you could never have learned in success. Maybe it was the pain of discipline, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices that eventually gave you the freedom you now enjoy. The common thread is simple: pain was present, but pain didn't destroy you. It shaped you. It carved out the strength that now defines you. There is a principle woven into the very fabric of life. What you resist persists, but what you embrace transforms. When you resist pain, it lingers, it controls you, it defines your choices. But when you embrace it, when you lean into the discomfort, you discover something powerful. Pain loses its grip on you. Instead of being something you fear, it becomes fuel. The soreness after a workout is proof your body is growing stronger. The sting of failure is proof you're daring to stretch beyond your limits. The ache of sacrifice is proof you're investing in a future that matters more than temporary comfort. The key is to stop asking, "How do I avoid pain?" and start asking, "How can I use this pain?" Because every ounce of discomfort contains energy. You can let that energy break you, or you can channel it into building a stronger version of yourself. That choice is yours. The most successful, fulfilled, and resilient people aren't those who had the easiest lives. They're the ones who turned their pain into power, who refused to waste their sufferings, who decided that if they were going to endure hardship, it would serve a purpose. What happens When you embrace pain instead of avoiding it is nothing short of extraordinary. You begin to see obstacles differently. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" You stop seeing pain as a dead end and start seeing it as a doorway. That shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, pain doesn't weaken you, it sharpens you. It becomes the very thing that prepares you for the life you're building. There's also a deeper truth here. Pain connects you with your humanity. It humbles you. It reminds you that you're alive, that you're stretching, that you're daring. And when you come out the other side of it, you don't just carry more strength. You carry more empathy, more wisdom, more depth. You're able to lead others not because you avoided struggle, but because you've walked through it and come out stronger. Pain becomes the bridge that connects your story to someone else's, and that connection is what gives your journey meaning. Imagine if you started to see every painful experience as a deposit into your future strength. Imagine if instead of fearing discomfort, you welcomed it, knowing it was shaping you. Over time, you'd begin to crave the challenge because you'd understand what it produces in you. You'd stop running from the hard things and start chasing them. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you recognize the power it gives you. What feels painful today will one day feel like preparation. What feels heavy now will one day be the strength that allows you to lift others. Pain is never wasted when you decide to use it. So the next time life hands you something that hurts, take a breath and remind yourself, this isn't here to break me. It's here to build me. And when you embrace that truth, you'll discover the remarkable power that was hiding inside your pain all along. Discipline is often misunderstood. People hear the word and immediately think of restriction, of limitation, of being forced into rigid routines that rob them of freedom. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline is not a prison, it is the key that unlocks true freedom. Without discipline, you are at the mercy of impulses, distractions, and fleeting emotions. With discipline, you gain control over your choices, your habits, and ultimately your life. Doing hard things consistently builds discipline, and that discipline becomes the foundation of a life you actually desire to live. Think about the difference between someone who has no discipline and someone who has cultivated it. The person without discipline lives reactively. They wake up when they feel like it, work when they're in the mood, and let circumstances dictate their day. At first, this may feel like freedom, no rules, no structure, no pressure. But in reality, it creates a life of chaos and frustration. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. Without discipline, potential goes unused. The person who embraces discipline, on the other hand, is free in ways most can't imagine. They don't wait for motivation. They act regardless of how they feel. They create structure, and that structure supports their success. Their discipline gives them mastery over themselves, and that mastery is the highest form of freedom. Every hard thing you commit to whether it's waking up early, saying no to temptations, or putting in consistent effort when you don't feel like it, is a small act of discipline. And discipline compounds. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes, just like a muscle. At first, it feels heavy and uncomfortable. But the more you exercise it, the lighter it feels, and soon it becomes second nature. That's why the people who achieve extraordinary results in life are often the ones who simply mastered the basics consistently. They trained themselves to do the hard things until the hard things became habits. Discipline also has another gift. It builds self-respect. Every time you follow through on a promise you make to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you can be trusted. You begin to see yourself differently. You no longer identify as someone who quits when it gets tough. Instead, you see yourself as someone who shows up, who stays the course, who finishes what they start. That self-respect is priceless. It fuels your confidence, strengthens your resilience, and makes it harder for excuses to take root. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't just affect one area of your life. It spills into everything. The discipline to exercise regularly doesn't just transform your body, it strengthens your mind. The discipline to save money doesn't just grow your bank account, it gives you peace of mind. The discipline to study, to work, to improve, doesn't just advance your career, it sharpens your character. Each act of discipline creates ripples that touch every corner of your life. What most people fail to realize is that freedom without discipline isn't really freedom. It's bondage. If you're free to eat whatever you want, but lack the discipline to control it, you're enslaved to unhealthy habits. If you're free to spend however you want, but lack the discipline to save, you're enslaved to debt. If you're free to procrastinate whenever you want, but lack the discipline to act, you're enslaved to mediocrity. Discipline is the bridge that turns chaos into order, potential into achievement, and freedom into fulfillment. When you decide to embrace hard things, you're not just enduring discomfort, you're building the very skill that will liberate you from the traps that hold most people back. Every act of discipline moves you closer to the life you truly want. It may feel difficult in the moment, but that difficulty is temporary. The rewards of discipline are permanent. Imagine living a life where you are not controlled by cravings, fears, or excuses, but by your vision, your purpose, and your commitments. That's the life discipline creates. Discipline is not about restriction. It's about choice. It's about choosing the future over the moment, choosing growth over comfort, choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. And every time you make that choice, you grow stronger. The hard things you do today become the habits that set you free tomorrow. So the next time you face something difficult, remind yourself, this is not punishment, this is training. I am not losing freedom by doing this. I am gaining it. Because discipline, when embraced, is the seed that blossoms into true freedom. Hardships are often seen as interruptions, as unfortunate detours from the life we wish we were living. Yet if you look closely, you'll see they are not interruptions at all. They are the very events that shape the story of your life. The struggles you face, the obstacles you overcome, the hard things you refuse to let break you. These are the very moments that carve out your legacy. No one remembers the easy days. What inspires, what teaches, what lives on long after you are gone are the stories of how you faced difficulty and grew because of it. Every legacy worth remembering is built on hardship. Think of the people you admire most, whether in history, in your community, or in your family. Their greatness wasn't created in times of comfort. It was refined in the fires of adversity. The leader who endured opposition, the parent who sacrificed for their children, the entrepreneur who refused to quit after repeated failures. All of them left behind a legacy, not because life was easy, but because life was hard and they chose to rise anyway. Hard things gave them the opportunity to prove who they really were. When you go through hardship, you are writing the chapters of your story that others will one day read. Every decision you make in the face of struggle echoes beyond the moment. When you stand tall despite fear, when you push forward despite failure, when you keep faith despite doubt, you are not just surviving, you are creating an example. And examples are powerful. They outlive us. They inspire others who are walking their own difficult roads. They remind people that if you could endure and grow, they can too. This is why it's so important to see your hardships differently. They are not just about you. They are about the people you influence, the lives you touch, the generations that follow you. Your children, your friends, your community, they are watching how you respond to difficulty. They are learning from your example, and the way you choose to grow from hard things has the power to set a standard that shapes more lives than you may ever realize. Every hardship also chisels your character. It teaches patience, humility, resilience, and wisdom. These are qualities that can't be handed to you. They must be earned. And once they're yours, they become part of the legacy you carry. When you're gone, people won't remember the things you bought or the titles you nearly as much as they will remember the strength you showed, the kindness you gave, and the faith you held on to when life was at its toughest. Those qualities shine brightest in the dark, and that is what makes them unforgettable. It's natural to wish for an easy life, but easy lives rarely leave a mark. Hardships are what make you relatable, impactful, human. When you tell your story, it won't be the smooth paths that inspire others. It will be the valleys you walked through and the mountains you climbed. That's what gives people hope. That's what makes your journey meaningful. Your struggles are not wasted. They are being woven into a legacy that has the power to outlive you. So the next time you face hardship remember that it's bigger than the pain of the moment. It's an opportunity to grow into the person you were meant to be and to leave behind a story worth telling. One day someone will look at the way you endured and say, "Because they didn't give up, I won't either." That's the power of hardship. It shapes you, it refines you, and ultimately, it defines the legacy you leave behind. The truth is simple: hardships are not there to erase your life story, but to give it weight and meaning. Every time you choose growth in the face of struggle, you add another layer to a legacy that will live on in the lives you touch. Hardships are not the end. They are the beginning of the story people will remember. And that story will be one of strength, courage, and transformation.